Hi, friends. Thanks for joining me today. So, today I wanted to talk to you about active listening. And I am going to be referring to my notes a little bit because I have a lot to cover. And I really want to make sure that I'm staying on track here. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about active listening and how it can be a great skill in improv, certainly, but also in business. So when you talk about active listening, really what that mainly means is to be present. So when you're in an improv situation, all of the other players have to be present and engaged with the rest of the players to be able to react in real time to the other players' actions and words. And then we talk about being present in business, that means giving full attention to whoever is speaking, which helps to understand their message clearly. And then we talk about the yes and in improv. So this principle involves accepting what others say to you, which is the yes, and then building upon it, which is the and. And then in business, that yes and theory encourages positive engagement and collaborative problem solving. And it also shows that you truly value and consider others' contributions. Active listening also can help you be more adaptable. So with improv, the players they have to adapt to unexpected changes and think on their feet. You don't always know what the other people are talking about. You don't feel like you're an expert with it. I remember being in a scene at one point and people were talking about Star Trek. Well, I've never watched Star Trek. So, I was adaptable and I talked about how yoga can be used on the space station for all the Star Trek characters. Um, and so, in business, being adaptable in conversations, it just allows you to respond appropriately to new information or shift your direction, demonstrating that effective listening. Empathy is a skill that a lot of people kind of brush over, but I think it's very important. So with improv, having empathy really helps you to understand and react to the emotions of the scene partners, whether they're laughing, whether it's a serious situation. And then in business, empathy really helps in understanding the speaker's perspective and it helps them feel heard and respected. So I wanted to give you some poor examples of active listening. So, during business meetings, if you're being interrupted or if you're interrupting somebody else, it can just reflect poorly on you, and it can have a negative response with the other person. So, an example of this is during a meeting, a manager constantly interrupts an employee who is explaining a project issue and that's going to lead to incomplete understanding and potential frustration. And the consequences of that is that employee feeling undervalued and the problem remains unresolved due to lack of the complete information. If you're actively listening, you're also making a lot of eye contact with somebody else. So, an example of that, is a salesperson is discussing maybe a potential membership or product with a client, but that salesperson keeps checking their phone or looking around the room. And the consequence of that is that the client, person that they're talking to, they may perceive the salesperson as uninterested and maybe even unprofessional, potentially losing the deal. Also with active listening, you're not really assuming what the outcome is going to be because you are listening actively, shifting your perspective, and really being engaged with the other person. So, an example of this is in a brainstorming session, a team member employee prematurely concludes what others are saying without listening to their full ideas. A consequence of this is that potentially innovative ideas are stifled and the team misses out on potential solutions. I always think of all of the inventions that have happened in the world. If when we talk about the airplane, if Orville Wright had gone to Wilbur and been like, you know what, I really think that we can get this thing off the ground and into the air. And the other brother was like, "Nope, that's a dumb idea. We're not going to do it." Who knows? Maybe we would not have airplanes to this day. So anyway, just giving people the space to share their ideas. You never know what it's going to build on and what's going to come from that. Also just kind of that nonverbal disinterest that people can pick up on. A leader in a conference call shows nonverbal signs of boredom. like sighing, oh my gosh, or rolling their eyes, that's the worst, or even checking the clock. And then that can lead to participants feeling disrespected, potentially leading to disengagement and lower morale. So some skills that can help you improve your active listening is to fully engage. So, you could practice in meetings. This is always a good thing to do. Focus entirely on the speaker, avoid multitasking, and show engagement through nodding and verbal acknowledgments. So, an improv tip for that would be to treat the conversation like an improv scene where your response depends on truly listening and understanding the other person's words and emotions. You can also go ahead and build on your ideas. So, again, going back to Orville and Wilbur Wright, practice when someone presents an idea, acknowledge it and add it constructively instead of dismissing it or ignoring it, because you just never know what it's going to lead to. An improv tip for that is use the yes and approach to foster a more collaborative and innovative environment. And then also be open and adaptable. So be open to changing your perspective based on new information during discussions. An improv tip for that is to stay flexible, like an improv performer who adjusts to kind of the flow and the scene. And then showing empathy. So, a lot of it is practice, right? So listen for underlying emotions and respond with understanding and compassion. And an improv tip for that is, just as an improv where you react to your partner's emotional cues, respond to colleagues with empathy to build stronger connections. And so, I encourage you to try these things. One thing that has been hard for me, I'll admit, is if somebody comes up to me and tells me their name, a lot of times it just goes out of my mind because I'm not actively listening. And so one way that I will get around this is to, if somebody comes up to me and says, "Hi, my name is Darlene," I'll immediately shake their hand and say, "Hi, Darlene, my name is Lisa. It's nice to meet you." And then I might even actually write their name down just on a piece of paper so that I can refer to it if I do happen to forget their name. But incorporating these improv skills into active listening practices can really, really enhance communication, collaboration, and overall effectiveness in a business setting. So I hope this was helpful for you today. Being out of work makes me forget the calendar, and I did not realize when I first put this challenge to myself that it was 4th of July week. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything on Friday, but I will make sure that I do 12 full videos over these next couple of weeks. So anyway, have a happy and safe 4th of July, and hopefully we will see you soon. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.